the Cowboys are not committed to the run, and it's going to affect Tony Pollard going forward the rest of the season. This is a game where they blew out the Rams, and even in this blowout, Pollard had only 12 rushing attempts. He's only averaging 13.5 rushes per game. It's just a bad sign. If you can trade Pollard and get something, I think it's time. I don't think they have faith in him.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys on Sports. Things look a little different today because we're at home. Scheduling conflicts, but happy early Halloween. Week 8 just finished up. We're going into Week 9. We're going to be recapping our predictions and our waiver wire pickups from last week. Then we're going to be going into our What Do We Learns for the week, giving you weekly waiver wires, and then a Get Bold prediction at the very end. How was the week for everybody? Did we do well?
Yeah, man. Looking forward to.
Wow, Mark.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. Go. Sorry.
Looking forward to Halloween. It's crazy here being in the COVID-20 bubble again. Here we are, all virtual, trying to keep it safe for everybody. COVID-20, it's a real thing. It's out there. Beware. Stay safe.
Yeah, I went 1-1.
Yeah, I think what's spooky is being 7-1, and some are talking about a dynasty is being formed.
Yeah, nobody. No one is talking about it but you.
People are having the conversation.
You got to let it go, man. It just makes you look desperate. I'm just saying, I get it. You want us to think you're good.
Some are saying. 4 losses within 25 games.
I feel like the only people talking about it are you and Bagel. I think you have one of those those voice boxes on Bagel where he's like, "Your team is 7-1, master. It is fantastic. You are really good at fantasy football."
He's actually sleeping right next to me. He'll probably pop on screen. All right, we can go into our predictions and weekly waiver wire recaps. Without further ado. Josh, our guest from last week, said Taysom Hill to roster him, and he got about 24 fantasy points. So that was a hit. Yep. Juwan Jennings, unfortunately a miss, but time will tell. Debo's still out. Dante Foreman miss. Roshan Johnson looked pretty good. We'll probably segue into him later on in the episode. Chuba Hubbard hit. Miles Sanders' experience might be officially over. He had 0 points and he was healthy, so to be continued. Latavius Murray missed. He did not do too well, but I do still like him as a stash, as a handcuff for the rest of the year. Bill is bringing in Leonard Fournette. Shout out to Mark for saying to roster Leonard Fournette a few weeks ago. And then Darrell Henderson, I would call that a hit. Did well. Him and Freeman seem to be splitting the time, but he's still pretty impactful. And then our Get Bold prediction, Josh said Saquon Barkley over on about 20 fantasy points. I said under 10 fantasy points, and he failed us both and got 15 in a lot of scoring formats. And then Kenny Pickett said he would have. Yeah, it's a push. I think we count that. Kenny Pickett, Phil said, would have 250 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. First time to ever do that. So I don't think that happened.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he did get hurt. Still wrong though.
What can you do? They brought in the Chicago savior, Mitch Trubisky, and I think his very first pass was picked off. I'm pretty sure. I think he stared down wide receiver 1 about 14 seconds, and then threw into quadruple coverage, and typical Trubisky picked off.
Rocky, you're real quiet.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm waiting for. You think TikTok Lives would train us a little bit for this?
Yeah, I'm trying to not talk over you guys, and I figured it's going to be a romantic dance. We're going to figure this out. So
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can go into TikTok take.
Time to check my social media, yeah. To see who loves me online.
We have two good ones. The first one is from my Justin Jefferson take, who doesn't look extremely terrible now that Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. Of course, no one wanted that to happen, but it happened.
Liar.
And Jacob Smith added his friend Dylan and said Yappity McYap Yap, and then Dylan said Buddy is the mayor of Yappington. So
You were so happy when he got hurt.
no, it was devastating. It's unfortunate.
No, you were like, yeah. Now my take will be right. That was a terrible take.
So are you suggesting that I prioritize the narrative of my podcast that I'm a part of instead of the career and well-being of Kirk Cousins and his family?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. I tell you what, though, man, Kirk was a class act, cheering on his team. It was tears in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know, you got to hope he comes back.
Notice how he didn't squeal like a little bitch like Aaron Rodgers either when he tore his Achilles. I mean,
Wow.
he handled it like a real man. Like he didn't go down and was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. Scrimmage, I suck."
I feel like that was a fever dream you had.
Yeah.
Where you actually heard Aaron Rodgers squeal. And maybe you hated it and liked it a little bit.
A little bit.
You probably liked it.
A little bit.
All right,
Zach, there's some sweet earbuds. What are they, like the prototype? What is that? Is that a tampon in your ear?
You making fun of
what the hell is that?
Making fun of my AirPods?
Whoa,
Jesus,
dude.
these things are huge.
I don't know what you're trying to say here. That I have small ears or that my AirPods are big.
They're enormous. They look like the prototype.
Dude, I don't know. They're just AirPods.
Yeah,
what are you wearing right now?
I'm starting to notice something about Mark.
Raw dog.
Remember how we talked about Mark and his classism a few times and his upbringing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
He did make a comment on our other show, Guys on Draft. Please tune in, watch Guys on Draft. But we'll touch on it later. But I mean, it was really illuminating to me. I'll just say that.
All right, fair enough. Okay, second comment is from our chalkboard. Actually, go join our chalkboard. Link is in the bio, and you get free 24/7 fantasy football advice.
Yeah,
J-Bo,
calm down, Phil. Calm down.
What are you doing over there?
Leave the shirt on. Leave the shirt on.
Hey, if you follow, that'd be a good clip. All right, this comment from chalkboard, and it's a really nice, wholesome comment. We've already seen it, but we wanted to give you a shout out, J-Bo. He said, "Sweet!" exclamation point. I'll go sub. I literally found y'all on my For You page, and you were the only show reading everyone's comments and not just quote unquote paid subscribers. And I also like the opinions y'all had. So we really appreciate that. That literally makes us try really hard for you guys to produce a good show. And if you're not already in chalkboard, please do so. Supports the show.
You guys watching the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs has like 150. Oh, yeah, I guess spoiler alert, this is a Monday night. We're watching Lions, Raiders, at least some of us are. And Jameer Gibbs has, I think, 150 rushing yards right now, close to it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty electric watching the two most quarterbacks in the NFL.
I need 1 point from Devontae Adams.
What, Phil?
I hate that the Lions uniform looks like. Okay. It reminds me of like the Houston helmet, but blue. Houston to college.
Yeah, they're pretty. It's a pretty ugly uniform combination.
I don't
Houston.
like Asian.
Are you saying Houston with an H?
Houston.
You said Houston with a Y. Houston.
What do you say? Houston?
No, but if you make fun of how I say costume, then what is Houston? What is Houston?
Did you say costume?
All right, wrong show. Watch
he says costume. So how do you say it?
Houston.
And how do I say it?
Houston.
Yes, that's
you say it with a Y.
Say it with a U.
It's wrong either way.
Oh it's just, I don't know. I guess my accent. You say costume.
All
Nobody
right.
says costume.
Moving
Who says
on.
costume?
You
Moving
say
on.
it. You say it like there's two of them. Two Houstons.
Good one. Bars. Okay.
I think Phil's froze. Oh no, never mind.
No, he's not. Hey, Thrive
Pause.
Fantasy. If you do daily fantasy, do it through Thrive Fantasy. Click the link in the bio, scan the QR code on screen right now. If you're already using Thrive Fantasy, use promo code GUYS in the app. You get up to $250 instant match deposit on your first deposit. And if you follow the show, you get a lot of benefits, including for some prop slashes and some free squares. We don't have our squares yet. Join Chalkboard, get them on Tuesday when they drop. For example, last week, we had Devontae Adams 0.5 reception yards. We had Josh Allen 0.5 passing yards and Herbert 0.5 passing yards. And there's also NBA props on there too. So click the link in the bio, do your daily fantasy through Thrive. It helps us out a lot. And then we can go into what to be learned.
I don't know the order here because normally I'm the first one.
Let's stick to the same order.
Yeah,
okay.
So, Rocky, what did you learn?
The first thing that I learned is that the Cowboys are not committed to the run. And it's going to affect Tony Pollard going forward the rest of the season. This is a game where they blew out the Rams. We're way ahead. And even in this blowout, when you would see that or think that they would kind of focus the run, Pollard had only 12 rushing attempts. And if you look at his season, he's only averaging 13 and a half rushes per game. It's just a bad sign. Now, the Cowboys have been all over the board because they're up and down. 1 week, they're pretty awesome, blowing a team out like the Giants, like the Rams. Next week, they're getting blown out. So they have been up and down, but they haven't shown any propensity. So fantasy advice, if you can trade Pollard and get something, I think it's time because yesterday should have been the game where he took over and just ran it down their throats, and he didn't. So I don't think they have faith in him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I have Tony Pollard. I actually traded for Tony Pollard in my redraft league, but I was a little bit desperate because my team is kind of in shambles. I'm not opposed to this take, and honestly, a lot of rumors about Derrick Henry going to the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Titans have come out and said they probably won't trade him, and they probably might not actually do it with Will Levis catching fire. But it's something to look into, and yeah, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't at least look for offers for Pollard.
Yeah.
It might not be a bad time to sell him because I think you're right. I think they could have probably committed to the run a little bit earlier in that game, and they did not. But I think that's also because CeeDee Lamb was uncoverable yesterday.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, he was, but once you get up, it seems like you'd want to get Pollard on a hot streak. 2 touchdowns for the year, 400 and something yards. This is not the guy.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, in most leagues he was drafted probably top 5 running backs. This is not what we thought we were going to get.
Sure.
Hey, that's a good what to learn, Phil. Do you have anything on that?
Not really. I mean, I hate the Cowboys. If you get rid of them,
Yeah,
you
me
might
too.
as well. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, for me, has still been a disappointment based on where you drafted him. But I agree on the running game. They're just hot and cold. It's tough because, 1 week, like you said, you hate them, the way they show up like they're a bottom tier team, and then they blow out the Rams. It's like, I don't know what I'm getting week to week if I own Brandon Cooks, if I own CeeDee Lamb. And you got to start CeeDee Lamb no matter what if he's on your roster. If I could get a decent running back and a flex level wide receiver for CeeDee Lamb in a redraft, I would do that right now. Sorry.
All right, Mark. Mark, what did you learn?
Fair enough. Well, since I missed last week, I want to rewind a little bit. I want to catch up. A couple things I learned from last week real quick. Kelly Green, color usually reserved for field hockey and figure skating. Was was worn by a team who frequently runs trains on their left guard. And you know what?
All right.
They look pretty damn good in those uniforms. I'm not gonna lie. I like Kelly Green in the end. I think he should be here to stay. I think they should stick to that. And the other thing I learned was again last week, mobile, strong arm, good vision, makes great decisions. I mean, come on, he's D2, man. Shepherd College. He's like the second coming of Jesus himself. He was sent from heaven to bless Chicago. All right.
Yeah. What's your word now that he's not?
Basically the opposite of what Ohio State quarterbacks have been in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tyson Bagent is him. That's what I learned last week.
Yeah. What'd you learn this week?
We'll get to that later.
Okay. That Tyson Bagent is not him.
All right, my turn, huh?
Sure. Hey Phil, what'd you learn?
I think I learned that Jordan Love hates to be good at football.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, first 2 weeks of the season, 6 touchdowns, came out hot. It's kind of been so-so. I mean, he did respectively 19 points last week against Denver, 16 points against Minnesota this week, whose defense is, starting to round into a little bit better state now. But unimpressively, 180 yards against Denver. They've gotten better since that Miami game, but they're not great by any stretch of the imagination. Minnesota 229. I don't know, just uninspiring. And obviously, if you're a good team at this point in the season, you're probably not firing up Jordan Love. But I think it does affect a guy like Christian Watson, even Jaden Reed. Christian Watson, since coming back from the injury, has been mixed results at best. Jaden Reed, I still think is valuable. He leads the team in receiving yards, not in receptions. But I still think he's probably the most valuable receiver there. But I just think overall, their offensive metrics are just not where you want them to be. They're basically like 22nd in passing, 25th in rushing. Their efficiency is pretty bad. Their defense is not that much better than the offense. I'm not buying stock in any guys on that team. If I'm trying to make a playoff run or if I'm making the playoffs, I don't want to be starting Jaden Reed in my play.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually agree with the Jaden Reed take, especially for Dynasty. Really good value, a guy that you should for sure hold on to. And it does suck for Aaron Jones, who we were pretty high on before week 1 in drafts. Jordan Love can't seem to hold the game script together, especially even having a bye week to prepare. And, he throws the interception in fourth quarter, tries to make a play, and you can't do it. And it's hurting everybody. Christian Watson, though, fantasy bust.
Yeah, it's looking bad.
Oh, you're muted, Mark, or something. I didn't hear you. Might have been just me.
Yeah, you're muted, Mark. You're muted. There you go.
It's the best thing ever. Can we mute Mark? Wow. And that's a lot of power.
Why would you want to mute me?
Oh, he's back.
So many reasons.
Christian Watson, that scumbag, cost me $400 yesterday.
Yeah, he's on the shit list.
Rick.
All right. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, bro.
Can't segue to myself.
Not ready? Wow.
Hey Zach, what did you learn? Oh, Zach, thanks for asking. I learned, and these are 2 obvious ones, but they are wide receiver related. First one is that I think AJ Brown is a league winner. Might be a little bit of a homer take, but he's on a historic streak right now. I only say this because I do think it's worth trading for him. Right now, there's not a lot of players that their evaluation is sky high, and AJ Brown is one of those players. And I might have to give a haul for AJ Brown in a few of my leagues, especially in a dynasty league that I'm in. But yeah, I would still try and trade for AJ Brown, even though the price is sky high.
What is his historic chase here to be second best to Tyreek Hill?
Well, Tyreek Hill hasn't had 6 games in a row of 125 plus receiving. So
yeah, but Tyreek Hill is also 8 games into the season over G.
Ooh, no one cares. AJ Brown better.
I think Miami cares.
Yeah, well, Miami's soft. They don't win against good teams.
Yeah, all right,
Trying to
Mark.
bait me there. Trying to bait me.
All right. I will segue to myself. Second thing I learned is that the Bengals are back, and it may be good for people that have Bengals on their fantasy roster. They've got 3 straight wins, and this past week looked really good against the 49ers, who suddenly look pretty beatable. But have a game next week against Buffalo. I think that'll be a real tell to see how far back they've come. But this past week, Mixon, Boyd, Chase all had great games, or at least fantasy games. And Burrows had 3 touchdowns, 290 yards. It seems like they're finding their groove a lot like they did last year. Started rough, but then came back. So I think I learned that the Bengals might be as advertised, unfortunately.
The one piece that's
Yeah.
always missing in Cincinnati that's frustrating as hell is tight end play.
Sure.
Yeah, it's true. Irv Smith was a sleeper candidate. Hey, I mean, the Bengals did this last year too. It's not too much of a surprise. I traded for Joe Burrow. It's too late now to get Burrow, I think. Hey, and Mixon finally scored a touchdown.
Well, I traded for Burrow in one of my other leagues, in fact, my league, and I felt like I was getting a steal. It was a low-key Shawnee Blackburn blunder, typical classic Shawnee B blunder. But yeah, he gave me the player I wanted and then gave me Burrow for some reason. Yeah. Thank you, Shawnee.
All right, Mark. What did you learn?
All right, this week I learned that Tyson Bagent is not the man. He ran like he had lead in his cleats. His arm was weak as shit. He couldn't make any of his out throws. He got picked off a couple of times. His vision was terrible. He had Mitch Trubisky laser-like vision in this game. Decision-making was absolutely atrocious. And I don't know if he really went to Shepherd College because he doesn't seem like the second coming of Jesus anymore. He seems more like an Ohio State quarterback at this point.
I think what we've learned is that Chicago is a shithole that knows Roy talent. That's
Cleveland is a shithole.
No, Cleveland is a beautiful city. I got collaboration by our esteemed Phil here. He can vouch for it.
I like Cleveland, but if we're talking about cities, Rocky. I don't know if I mean, sure, are people getting murdered at alarming rates in Chicago? Yeah.
Yeah, but
beautiful city.
Have you been to Chicago, Phil?
When I was like 10.
So I'm just gonna let that linger. You got to go back as an adult. You got to smell the smell of urine, feces on the train. You got to go get. Listen,
I hate this take. You know, that's city. That's what cities are.
Listen, you got to get
go live on a farm and milk a cow, but
you got to go get a bad pizza that's incredibly thick. You can only muscle down one slice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan to eat this pizza. It's a friggin' pie. Okay, hands up. It's a pie. Got a filling. All right, so I'll go. So from one really shitty quarterback, I'm going to transition, and my condolences again to Kirk Cousins. And this is going to be a little bit out of the ordinary because I usually don't go for quarterbacks on waiver wire ads, but I'm going to say Jaron Hall on my freaking phone. Sorry, Jaron Hall. This is a guy we talked about preseason.
You're doing it. You're still my guy.
Wait, what's going on? What's going on?
Say that?
Time out.
Oh, I don't know, buddy.
Are you doing your waiver wire right now?
Yeah.
I think you're doing my waiver wire.
I didn't even get
what did we learn?
Dude, I didn't even get to do my second one.
Oh, wow. Oh, my bad.
You just fucking took the show over.
Man.
Oh, wait. No, so he's – no. He's
what was that?
Keep it in your pants, Phil.
Wait, hold on.
I love it.
Okay, you know
Jump
what?
the
I'm
shark,
sorry.
baby. Jump the shark.
No. Oh man, that's not right. All right, yeah, that is. I was gonna do that in my waiver section. Sorry. All right,
This was
so
like a crime.
I think. Oh, okay, what my second? What did we learn? I'm sorry. My second. What did we learn? I think we learned that it's all in the mayo because Will Levis resurrected DeAndre Hopkins.
Phil did not read the chat.
No, I
He
didn't.
took
I
your
didn't.
waiver
I
wire, he
literally walked
took
in
my
the
what did I
house.
learn?
There you go. Thanks, boys.
But go ahead.
Dude, this
So,
is beautiful.
Dogs
well,
This is
living.
this is fantastic.
just jump in. Well, I don't know what
Hey,
what did you
not to
learn? What is
mention,
it?
not to mention. No. You can
Keep
go ahead.
going. Just
I'll
do
add
it. This
if
is
you
very
don't say
Zoom
it.
worthy. Keep going.
So, Will Levis, I think, activates all your Tennessee Titans pass catchers that you were
Yep.
thinking of trading all this time. I mean,
couldn't have said it better myself.
hey, you know what? If you got the roster spot, pick up Will Levis. If he's going to be half as efficient as he was Sunday, why not? I'm sorry I didn't read the text, guys. I literally, you're lucky I'm here right now.
I will say, I watched about half of that game, and man, he worked through his progressions, calm in the pocket. Time will tell because the other team didn't have any. He looked NFL worthy on Sunday.
He looked good.
He did. He did, in fact. Yeah, might be a bad take for me because he was my draft bust when we did that episode in the off season.
Because you didn't like how hot his body was, I think. I remember you saying.
D Hop's stock is incredibly high right now. Chigo is back to relevancy.
Yeah.
Will Levis had an arm, man. He really threw that thing around. And the Falcons defense is no joke, too. They're pretty competitive. So
I think they're
I agree.
Especially the secondary. Will Levis is a piece of beef back there. 4 touchdowns against that secondary.
He was on somebody's hottest QB list, and I think it was well deserved.
Oh, now you want to claim that?
I'm just saying.
Are you trying to grab some Treylon Burks if you can?
That's a good question.
Like a speculative ad just to see what happens?
I don't think so, but it's not because of Will Levis or Burks' talent. It's Burks' injury concern. If it's dynasty, yes, but if it's redraft, no. IMO.
Sorry, dude.
All right, well, I guess I'll do my what did I learn. Good thing I had a third. Mahomes is streaky and having his worst statistical year. In fact, Russell Wilson is outperforming him statistically and is worth trading away in redrafts. If you have Mahomes, I think the streakiness is going to continue. He had five fantasy points, which is the lowest all time. Can't trade him this week, but in the next 25 to 28 point performance he has, you should look for trades because you can get at least an RB2, maybe a wide receiver 1 and a flex, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good take. I think what we're seeing too is KC's been playing a delicate game, not signing a top flight wide receiver.
Yeah, trading for one.
Yeah, I don't think Mahomes, his abilities haven't diminished. He's working through his reads. People are double teaming Kelsey, and it's just not leaving enough other options for him. So I think it's a good take.
Yeah, I think they put too many eggs in the Kadarius Toney basket.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I learned that Zach should definitely read a couple of TikTok takes from that take next week when we go live again.
All right, yeah, I bet. I'm here for it. Okay.
I don't hate it. I just know you're going to get ripped on it, though.
That's okay. Let the ripping happen. Pause. Okay, what we learned is finished. A little plug from CHALKBOARD. We mentioned it before, but click the link in the bio, scan the QR code on screen. Hey, you watching right now, this is literally a free fantasy tool that helps us out a lot, and you would benefit from it. You've got start sits for Mark. You've got Phil's picks. You've got Rocky's cheat sheets. We have a fantasy chat of over 250 people continuously bouncing ideas off each other back and forth about anything, trades, weekly starts and sits, things like that. You should definitely do it. And then without further ado, we'll go into our weekly waivers. Rocky, take us away. Who's your weekly waiver?
So I'm going to go ahead and Phil kind of let the cat out of the bag, but I think Jaron Hall is somebody we should look at. We were high in him in the preseason, at least I know a few of us were. I think he's got the requisite skills to be pretty good. And I think Minnesota is starting to kind of come together. I mean, I think you're seeing Madison running a little bit better. I think Addison is blossoming into a star in front of us. Great tight end play. I think Hall is going to be somebody who could be a bye week quarterback, something you should pick up, stash on your team before somebody else does, just to see kind of if you catch fire.
Yeah, cool with that take. But do we think, and this is just playing devil's advocate because I don't think this myself, but do they trade for like a Jameis Winston? Do they sign somebody? What do we think is the possibility of that?
I mean, there's rumors out there, and I think Mullins is their third string quarterback. He's coming off of injury, so there's a possibility. But I think that if you're Minnesota, you're going to give Jaron a run and just see kind of how what he does.
All right, fair enough. And then we have Mark. Mark, what was your weekly waiver?
My first one is he's available in a lot of leagues right now because of the uncertainty in the backfield. But I think this week highlighted a transition in Chicago where they are going to start mixing in Roschon Johnson a lot more. He's definitely their best pass catching back. The Khalil Herbert injury is still a mystery to me. I don't know what's going on, why he's out so long. Kind of feels like they know that they have a lot of horses in the stable, so they're going to they're not going to rush Herbert back on the field. And in the meantime, they've given trials to both Foreman and Johnson. Foreman produced fantastic last week, underperformed a little bit this week. But again, you also saw them mix in Roschon Johnson. Caveat is that he's a little slow to decide. So he does a lot of dancing. He doesn't hit the holes as quick. So if they coach that out of him, he might be a great late season stash for your playoff push.
Okay.
All right, Phil.
All right, so my first waiver, since you took Jaron Hall for me, I'm gonna go with Trey Palmer.
Okay.
Trey Palmer on the Bucs. Now, this is another one. It's kind of speculative. It's, it may pan out for you in a couple weeks. Last 3 games, he had 6 targets, 7 targets in the other one, and a real bummer in between there with Atlanta, only 2 targets. But my thinking here with Trey Palmer is he is on the field a lot. He actually recorded his highest snap count of the season so far, 55 snaps last week in the loss, 7 targets. We're talking about a team, even, the running game is non-existent. Mike Evans and Godwin are both guys that have seen substantial stints on the sideline with injuries. I wouldn't be shocked if either one of them go down. And if they do, you have a guy that's probably going to see like 7 or 8 targets a game. He's already seen 6 to 7 in the last few weeks. Trey Palmer, put him on your bench, see what happens.
Yeah,
not to mention in Tampa Bay, their older receivers maybe great trade candidates for teams that are on the brink of making the playoffs too. So if you see Mike Evans or Chris Godwin get moved, because Baker Mayfield's obviously not their answer, so it's not like they're trying to win this year. Trey Palmer instantly gets a bump too.
For sure. Okay, well, my weekly waiver is one that Phil kind of mentioned already, but Will Levis. There's no reason, absolutely no reason for the Titans to go back to Ryan Tannehill. They should ride the Will Levis train. He threw 4 touchdowns against a decent defense, and I think that type of performance will continue. He's just going to get a little bit better each time. He'll probably have a few blunders and some rookie moments, but you should pick him up while you still can and stash him. Especially if you're with a team like me where you drafted Deshaun Watson and drafted Daniel Jones, and you luckily traded for Joe Burrow, but if you didn't, you'd be picking up the likes of Kyler Murray, who's out and hopefully can play, and people like Will Levis. So,
Yeah.
quarterback needy teams take Will Levis.
Yeah. I think it's been pretty interesting. And, sidebar, if you're a Deshaun Watson owner, I think you do have to be kind of concerned. Number one, I don't buy at all that Arizona all of a sudden decided to not start Joshua Dobbs after starting him the rest of the year and making it. They actually announced he would be starting, and the next day said that he won't be. To me, I think that that's pretty clear that he's going to be traded somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns, because they are the Browns and they do Browns things, would trade for the quarterback that they traded to Arizona, probably giving up a higher pick than what they need. But all that to be said, there's concern that Watson's injury is more than what we think. So, yeah, I think if you can grab Levis, it's a good pickup, especially if you're a team like Zach, who had two scumbag quarterbacks.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson's on my shit list. That was my what did I learn 2 weeks ago, I think.
Daniel Jones not a scumbag. Do not put him in the same boat with Deshaun Watson, okay? The defiler.
Yeah.
Hey, they're both still money, baby.
Do you think, honestly, though,
That's
that maybe Deshaun Watson's just a little gun shy to get the proper treatment for his injuries?
He's
at this
not gun
point?
shy.
Oh.
He's not
I
gun
didn't
shy.
think about that.
Maybe there's a treatment that he's like, you know what? I think I gotta hit pause. I can't get this treatment right now. There's a microscope on me. Just put it back in my pants and I'll take an ice bath.
There. All right. Transitioning to what my second waiver wire pickup.
You're transitioning?
Well, segueing into my.
So you said the same thing earlier, Phil, but I didn't say anything.
Oh, you should have said something.
Yeah. There's too much rumors, too much gossip out there about one of the Denver Broncos receivers being traded. And so my second waiver wire pickup is Marvin Mims. I think we're going to see an enhanced role. I think we all kind of liked him and liked his skill set going into the season. We were concerned about him having to share with other good receivers. But I feel like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Judy or cut him. The guy's, I mean, something's not right. He takes plays off. I don't know if they're going to find somebody who wants him, but I think if they could, they would trade him for almost anything.
I can see the Chiefs doing that.
Yeah.
I can see the Colts maybe doing that too.
You can see the Browns because that's what the Browns do. Yeah.
All right, good pick. All right, Mark, your second weekly waiver.
My second waiver, Kendrick Bourne just went down. New England is looking for a replacement, and they may have found it in the way of Demario Douglas.
He just took mine.
Okay.
I gave you one, Phil. It's a beautiful guy. You don't like my guy.
I like my own picks.
I get it.
To be fair, I did text this one though, so this one was.
Yeah, Phil.
To be fair,
anything.
it doesn't matter.
You should probably read the thread. So Demario Douglas, is he going to give you Kendrick Bourne production? No, but late in the season, again, we had guys to our bench to try to, give us some options at the end of the season when injuries happen. They don't have much there in the way of wide receiver. They have a couple of tight ends that are spotty. They have Devontae Parker. Demario Douglas could be a guy. I think he had 5 or 6 targets in this last game. Going forward, could be a guy that Mac Jones looks to rely on to replace the injured Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, but Demario Douglas isn't really a football name, right? Sounds more like bowler or something, like Demario Douglas.
Like he should be wearing Kelly Green and skating tandem alongside of Chaz Michaels.
Yes,
Demario Douglas sounds like a boxing name.
It does. That's what I think.
Demario the Destroyer Douglas. I mean, you're welcome.
Wait, that's what I just said. I said boxer.
I think you said figure skater. but whatever.
So both of my waivers got clipped.
Yeah, sounds
My
like
fault. My fault.
karma.
I couldn't read the waiver. The thread. That's my fault. So the transition here.
Oh, your transition?
There you go. Little unorthodox, but I'm gonna go tell you to pick up the Falcons defense.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
Hear me out.
Defense over the guy I gave you, son of a bitch.
Hear me out.
That's
Hear
That's
me
how
out.
much he hates your advice.
It's a
I
I
great
want to know
my
who this
own-
guy is.
I like my own picks.
All right, let's
Hear
hear.
me
Let's,
out.
let's hear the defense that you're streaming this week.
No, pick them up for the rest of the season. The Falcons defense.
Oh, heard.
Falcons defense. They're only ranked 20th right now, so they're not blowing anybody out of the water. But secondary is stout. They're getting better. And here's what I like. Outside of running into the buzzsaw that is Will Levis last week, where they got 28 points put up on them, they've been keeping teams scoring relatively low. They're turning the ball over pretty well. High amount of sacks, depending on your league. If sacks count for points, they're a team that, they're averaging about 3 sacks a game, 2.5 sacks a game. The rest of their schedule outside of Minnesota, they're facing Arizona, New Orleans, the Jets, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Indy, Chicago, New Orleans again. Bunch of those teams, especially towards the end of the year, are teams that are going to probably be looking to move up in the draft. They're not great offenses to begin with. The very best you could say New Orleans is spotty. I mean, they're a solid start at your defensive position for the rest of the year where you're not going to be worried about facing a Josh Allen, Mahomes, any of these guys that are going to put up crazy numbers. And they have the upside with the sacks and the turnovers. I like them. They're playing in the South, playing a bunch of shitty teams. If you can't pick up anybody else in your 12-man, grab the Falcons. Shore up your defense.
That was a very wordy take for a defense pickup.
I kind of like
convinced
it.
you.
I kinda like
Hey,
it.
I convinced you a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, no, it's not a bad take. Not bad. Well, who was the guy that you did not take that Rocky
I don't even
suggested?
know. I didn't get to look.
Khalil Shakir. Best day.
Oh yeah.
Best day as a pro, 6 for 6, 92 yards. But not only that, for the entire season, he's only dropped 1 pass. He's starting to get mixed in more and more on the snap count. I think he might be a better option than Gabe Davis.
Whoa, wait, whoa.
He went to a non-power 5 school, so you knew Gabe was going to fall at some point.
All right. Nah, Gabe actually also had a 23-point game.
Yeah, but that doesn't fit my narrative.
There you
go. Oh, nice. All right. Hey, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a very underrated breakout game. Trey McBride also had an extremely underrated breakout game that nobody's talking about. Phil, props to Phil, a few weeks ago said pick up McBride. And if you are on tight end watch like I've been for the last 6 weeks of football, then this is the tight end that will fix all your problems. He is definitely taking over Zach Ertz. What's up?
Didn't you just say Phil said to pick him up a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, but he's still available in more than 60% of leagues right now.
All right.
So just a reminder, we've done that a few times though. We've mentioned guys.
Yeah, look, he's
twice.
only he's rostered in 7.8% of leagues.
Yeah, he's incredibly underrated right now. Zach Ertz, as much as I love the guy, they're going to be moving off him in Arizona. This was his breakout game. I don't see any other competition.
Targets this week. 14 targets.
Yeah. Insane. And they were playing a really competitive and one of the best teams in the league, being the Baltimore Ravens. So that goes to show when they need a catch or when at least Dobbs needs somebody to look for, he throws McBride's way. So
go pick up Trey McBride. You clip that shit? You clip that shit?
No, that was, hey, you know what? Why don't you go clip something?
Oh, maybe I will.
Oh, it's a clip off.
It's a clip off. All right. That was weekly waivers. Good job, boys. Now we're here for the Get Bold predictions.
That's how you get bold.
Oh, I'm going to get real bold because I'm going to make
Working
it up
title, Get Bold. Okay. Rocky, do you have yours? Because we can go unorthodox. I can start if you guys don't have yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go last. Yeah.
I think Rocky has this, though.
Yeah, I have mine. I'm going to go with this is a big prediction. playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Normally you would say that this would not be possible, but I'm going to call out that Tua will have a 400-yard, 4-touchdown game against the Chiefs. In fact, what I want to say big call is that I think he's going to double Mahomes. Mahomes, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tua will double him, showing everybody who the better quarterback in this league is.
Okay.
My bold take.
Hey, that's bold. You got bold.
What? I'm going to piggyback right off of that because Tyreek Hill in his revenge game in Kansas City.
This is why I called it.
Going to go for over 200 yards and 2 TDs.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill is going to go off on Kansas City. He gonna give the deuces all day long. He gonna wave bye-bye to Brittany and Taylor up in the booth. All right. I don't care if Taylor's there or not. Miami's gonna torch Kansas City, and Tyreek is gonna be the reason why.
Oh man, you actually might want to be on Travis Kelce watch if Taylor Swift isn't traveling to Germany or wherever the fuck this game is played.
It's Germany.
I do think Tyreek wants to show the Chiefs they made a mistake. I do. I think
they know they did.
Yeah, I think they.
Well, they definitely should, but I think he wants to remind them live. I think he is he's a prideful guy. I felt like he feels like he should have got signed for the money. Saw other receivers getting signed. I think he wants to stick it to them.
Of course he does. I mean, he breaks kids' bones when they don't listen. What do you think he's going to do to his former team?
Okay, my turn.
All right, I almost just cut you. I didn't know you were.
No, yeah, your turn. My fault.
No.
I'm not even ready. Not even ready.
Okay. Okay. Another wide receiver about to have a big game. Nico Collins is going to have a bounce back game, quote unquote, against Tampa. Nico hasn't really been a streaky, like boom or bust player, but he did have a down game against Carolina. They're going to be playing another NFC South team this week, and my prediction, he's going to have 12 plus targets and over 20 fantasy points.
All right. So here we go. Get ready, boys. Off the broken neck, Daniel Jones is going for 3 bills. 3 total touchdowns. I'm sorry, 300 total yards, rushing and passing. He hasn't done it all year except week 2 against Arizona.
We're not going to do it again either.
Hey,
300 yards, 300 yards, 3 TDs.
That was a lot of time and preparation just to mention your own quarterback there, Phil.
Yeah.
All right, AJ Brown.
I think we need a side bet. What would we do if Phil's right, and what should he do when he's wrong?
I think if Phil's wrong, he has to change his fantasy football team name to something that 3 of us decide on.
I like that. And what about if he's right? What do we, the 3 of us, have to do?
Hold on.
I think.
Hold on. Hold on. What are we doing if you guys get yours wrong?
That's what I'm asking.
Well, no. I'm talking about yours. What about your call? What if yours is wrong? What are we doing?
But I mean, our calls are based somewhat in reality. Your call, the Giants scored 3 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, they have.
I do want to say, man, I want to give Rocky props because at least he didn't say Tua's going to pass for 175 yards and a touchdown. You know, he actually had a big prediction this week, and I'm loving it.
I said 300 yards and 3 TDs.
That's a big prediction.
That's really big.
Okay, that's what?
That's
the
like
same thing
that
Zach said for Joe Burrow. What?
Hey,
that was bold.
Danny Dimes is no Joe Burrows.
Yeah, so then it should be bolder that I said it, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
It is bold.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is bold.
Yeah, but come on, Phil. Like, what would we have to do if that take wins? No,
I got nothing. Well, wait. So he threw for 321 and rushed for 60 in a game this year and threw 3 touchdowns. So why are we crazy?
You should feel good and confident, and you should wager with us.
Suck my cock. What are we doing if you guys, your picks don't hit?
All right, fine. This is going nowhere. Whatever.
I think that
Boo.
Zach.
Lame.
So Zach,
That was lame.
Zach famously has a tattoo of the Philly special from the year they won a Super Bowl. I
Sure
think
do.
he should have to get a tattoo of the tush push if his prediction doesn't come through.
And I think Phil should get a tattoo of Danny Dimes tripping at the like 6-yard line.
I like
Hey,
that.
I'm being incredibly serious right now. I'll do that. I will literally do that. If Rocky pays for it, I'll do it.
Wait.
You're gonna get the tush push.
What am I paying for? And why am I paying for anything?
I would 100%. If Nico Collins does not get 20 plus fantasy points, I will 100% get the tush push tattooed. But
He
Rocky
just
doesn't pay
wants
for
the
it.
tattoo.
That tattoo. That's how gay you are.
It's an iconic
Caveat:
play.
you got
And so
in the tattoo has to be Jalen
Okay, see,
into
well,
the offensive lineman.
all right, good job, Mark. Good job. No, see, there was a loophole to this. It wasn't a gay thing, Rocky. It's just the tush push. The actual play design would go right next to the Philly special. It's just X's and O's.
I think you need to come clean on your feelings. It's okay. It's 2023.
Rocky thinks you need to come.
Rocky, it only costs like $100. It's just a bunch of X's and O's right next to it. It's not any crazy money.
I think Jalen Hurts is a big deal to you. I get it. He's a good-looking man. Just admit it.
Nah, Jalen Hurts is definitely making me a better human being. He's our good role model. Because you have all these Philly fans over here after every win. We're like, fuck you, eat my piss, suck my dick, go Birds. And then Jalen's like, hey, man. And he preaches, he has like a Bible verse as like his answer to, A.J. Brown had a good game. What do you think? So, yeah, teaching us to be humble-ish, a little. Not really.
I hear you.
Okay, hey, that was a good show, guys. Get bold.
Yeah.
Finished up.
Good.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it was informative. We definitely were able to let everyone have turns. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. Join the chalkboard. Do your daily fantasy through Thrive Fantasy. Click the link in the bio for both those things. Like, subscribe, comment on this YouTube episode, and follow us on all of our socials at G1 Podcasts on everything. I think that's everything. Guys, you guys want to mention anything real quick?
No.
All right. Peace.
How'd that do that to you, babe? All right, so should we switch the background? What are we taking?
Do you want to end recording first?
Oh, yeah.